Bucs when they meet the Saints here at the Superdome today. And while this may not be a long history, it is a significant one, particularly for the Bucs, who won their first game ever after 26 straight losses in their short NFL history. That was back in '77. Our coverage will continue after this word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. And the New Orleans Saints. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan with Irv Cross here at the Superdome, and a big change at quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the visitors here today. Vinny Testaverde goes to the bench. Chris Chandler gets the start. Irv, what kind of an impact on the Bucs who've lost 3 in a row?
Oh, I'm sure Ray Perkins would hope that this change will help spark the football team. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes it'll go in reverse. Talking to Tim Newton yesterday, a defensive tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he said, now that he's benched the top guy, we should all have to look over our shoulders. But I talked to Testaverde during the pregame warm-up, and I said, well, what are you going to do today? Assuming he was going to send in signals to work with the quarterback or something. He said, Irv, I'm not going to do anything. I'm simply a spectator.
Well, of course, the big question will be after today in terms of the Bucs quarterback situation. Ray Perkins didn't want to talk about that at all. He said, let's just wait and see what happens on Sunday afternoon. Now, as far as the Saints are concerned, they had quite a day rushing against the Bengals last week. Got out of their slump, got to 3-5. They had 200-yard rushers in Mays and Heyward. I expect more of the same here today. How about you?
Well, yeah, I expect it in large doses. You know, Tampa Bay comes in there with a defense that's ranked number 24 against the run, and that's very tempting for any team to challenge that defensive line who plays that way against the run. So you know the Saints are going to put that ball on the ground more so than they normally would. So expect today Tampa Bay and both New Orleans to try to control the game and the clock on the ground.
Well, Jim Mora, wearing his fancy new headset that Irv described to you on the NFL Today just a few minutes ago. It's a wireless job, which means that he can roam the sidelines there like a panther and not have cable to trip over. And it looks like Ray Perkins made a late decision to wear the new gear. There it is. You see, he's got no cable either. Now, they had to consult with the Bucs and say, do you want to wear the same thing? Try it out. And if Ray chose not to, then he would have been able to wear the one he's worn, he told us last night, all the way back to his days at the Giants and at Alabama. So the Buccaneers will start first, electing to not bring it out of the end zone. And it'll be Tampa Bay ball and Chris Chandler at the quarterback. Starting from the 20-yard line. 10-7 as a starter, and 10-6 with the Indianapolis Colts, and losing, of course, to San Diego earlier this year when Testaverde was hurt. Gruber backs Grimes, Beckles, Rob Taylor, and Ron Hall across the front in front of Chandler. And it'll be Mark Carrier, Bruce Hill returning to the starting spot at wide receiver, Gary Anderson and Reggie Cobb, the running backs. Hill still a little bit banged up with shoulder and ribs injuries, and Gary Anderson with a strained muscle in his back suffered during the week in practice, but he has the ball on first down. And bangs his way out for about a 6-yard pickup to the 26 of Tampa Bay. Gets a helping hand up from Rob Taylor. Gene Atkins on the tackle for the Saints. Defensively, it'll be Ronaldo Turnbull for the injured Wayne Martin. Pig Goff, and that's what he wants to be called, folks. Pig, not Robert. Jim Wilkes on the right side. And linebackers Jackson, Mills, Johnson, Swilling, Pro Bowlers all. And the secondary of Massey and Cook on the corners, Maxey and Atkins on the safeties. 2nd down and 4 for Chandler and the Buccaneers. Reggie Cobb, and he has the first down to the 31-yard line. So the Bucs get off running, and Irv, you mentioned that we could have a fast game if they both do what they want to do. Their season philosophy is to be primarily running teams, and of course they've each had trouble keeping that going through the early part of the season, the first half of the year.
Well, Ray Perkins told us last night he plans to run about 40 to 45 times today. He may run more than that if the game dictates that, but he likes to run his tight ends quite a bit. He has a highly talented set of tight ends. Ron Hall, Jesse Anderson, and Ed Thomas. They did a pretty good job blocking up there.
Chandler's first pass complete to the tight end Hall. And a gain of 5, maybe 6 on the play. Ron Hall coming into the game with 20 catches on the season. And again, another one of the players that Ray Perkins thinks will ultimately mean plenty to this team. A 6-yard gain on the play. He likes Hall. He's got good speed. He's a good blocker. One of the young players that they're building their future on. 26 years of age out of Hawaii. 2nd and 4 for Chandler. Anderson stopped short of the first down over the 40-yard line. It'll leave third and less than a yard. And Pig Goff, the former Buck, made the tackle on him.
Take a look at what's going up front here, Tim. Number 40, Gary Anderson, working off his left guard. Wants to, again, penetrate that defensive line. Now, the key here is number 91, Pig Goff. He has to control the line of scrimmage, but he's being controlled here by the center, Randy Grimes, who drives him off the ball, and Anderson comes upfield for yardage.
Well, you saw Gary Anderson, father again. Amanda, born last week in Tampa. Congratulations to Gary and his wife, Ollie. Third and short. Over the top goes Cobb, and it appeared that he got to the marker for the first down. Referee today is Gordon McCarter, and the replay man is Chuck Heberling, the former referee. And it is first down for Tampa Bay. And doing so far, Irv, exactly what they'd like to do. Run the ball primarily. And they've got themselves another first down at their 41.
People oftentimes wonder why coaches do that. It's very important to establish superiority at the line of scrimmage. And the best way to do that is let your big offensive linemen take off and control the line with running games, with the running game.
Cobb again, and a good defensive play by Swilling. Little gain, if any. Pat Swilling slicing in from that right linebacker spot. A good ankle stop.
The Saints linebackers are big, Tim, on the outside anyway. Of course, Sam Mills is the shortest linebacker in the league, but Swilling can sometimes play like a defensive end. He's 6'3", 242 pounds, very strong, very quick. But that time, he played that play just like a defensive end would, coming down quickly, closing the gap, and making the play.
So it's second and a long 9 for the Bucks. Anderson in motion. Cobb took it outside and ran well for about 8 yards, but a flag on the play. Brought down by Swilling, who came all the way from the right side. Illegal procedure is the signal from Gordon McCarter against the Bucks. So the effort by Cobb goes for naught. Gordon McCarter marks it off, and
illegal motion, offensive right tackle, 5 yards, repeat, second down.
Well, that would be Rob Taylor, number 72, right tackle, second and 14. Saints brought those linebackers right up on the line of scrimmage on that second and long and wound up with nearly an 8-man front. It was a good effort by Cobb to get wide, make some yardage, but it's called back. Cornerbacks drop off the wide receivers here on the passing down. Chandler steps up in the pocket. He'll run it. And takes it out at about the 45-yard line, leaving third and about 7. Johnson and Swilling steering him out of bounds. A good coverage downfield by the Saints secondary.
Tim, it also tells you something about how Chandler's going to approach his game. He's going to be very careful with the football. He's an experienced quarterback. One thing he does exceptionally well is look off the secondary. He'll look to one side of the field, try to get those defensive backs to commit, and then turn around and come back to the other side. That time, the Saints secondary was all over his receivers. Nobody open.
Buck and Thompson come in defensively. Buccaneers go to the shotgun, and up comes the noise level in the Superdome. Chandler's got a man open. First down. Carrier to the 38-yard line of New Orleans. Mark Carrier. 17 yards, Irv.
Nice catch, Tim, but Mark Carrier has had big games against the Saints in the past. He told me the other day that he only lives about 2.5 hours from New Orleans. Was a Saint fan as a kid growing up. And this is one of his, this is like a homecoming to him when he comes and plays at the stadium, because he had 2 busloads of friends come to visit him, plus 25 other personal friends and guests we had to get tickets for. So this is like a homecoming day for him, and he wanted to have a real big day.
Mark Carrier, and even there's his homecoming statistics.
His rookie year, Tim, he told me he paid for 40 tickets. but he only cut it back to 25 this year because he only wanted his closest friends and relatives with him. But 2 busloads of people came up, too, from his hometown, Church Point, Louisiana. He's big there, and he's really close to his community, and people love him in Church Point.
Well, 42 games with a reception, and Vince Buck, the delay on the field was an injury to Vince Buck, a very good-looking young nickelback, rookie from Central State in Ohio, number 2 choice this year. He's apparently all right. So first down, Buccaneers at the 38-yard line in New Orleans. Opening drive of the game. Chandler, the quarterback. Anderson gets close to 5 yards off the left tackle behind the pulling guard Beckles. Gary Anderson had been bothered with a little calf muscle pull and then a little back muscle thing last week, so he hasn't been 100% since about the 3rd game of the season. Johnson and Maxey putting the stop on him that time. 10th play of this drive, exactly what Tampa Bay would hope for. Second down, long 5, close to 6. Anderson, nowhere to go, met in the hole by Sam Mills, who was untouched. Just waiting for Anderson. Anderson got about a yard. The 3rd down, a long 4.
Tim, this play works because Mills is coming into the gap. He also has number 39 here, the safety, coming in the hole to pluck things up. So watch what happens now when the play runs. Here comes Anderson. Nothing's there because Sam Mills is closing down. The defensive tackle closed down. The in-sled slid out, created a hole for Mills. He made the tackle. Great defensive offensive play.
Milton Mack gets his job back temporarily as the nickel man for the Saints, replacing Buck. Joined by Thompson here on the passing down. Play action from the shotgun. Harvey. First down, Tampa Bay. Nice looking play. Robert Massey trying to bang the ball loose there unsuccessfully.
You had a whole lot going on here, Tim. With the play pass action, Chandler had hoped that the linebackers would bite on it. But watch what happens here as well. Number 75, Carl Bax, pulls away like he's simulating run. Well, the defensive tackle follows him, but coming right back where that area was vacated was John Harvey. with a short pass here in the flat. A very interesting play. You wonder if Bax, number 75, went the wrong way or if the play really was designed like that.
John Harvey coming in on the third down has become a good third down receiver for the Buccaneers. First down. New Orleans 24. Bruce Hill takes a hit and holds on. It was Toy Cook who put the wrap on him. He got about 4 yards on the play.
I tell you, that was a tremendous play by Toy Cook. But again, Cook told me earlier in the week that in order to make the Pro Bowl, he has to make plays like this. Now here comes Bruce Hill, makes a catch. Cook has had, only one interception so far this year. He's had 5 balls in his hands, and he's felt that at least 3 of those plays he should have been touchdowns. So today he's going to concentrate on trying to take the ball away.
Chandler 4 of 4 on this opening drive. Cobb cuts it inside to the 14-yard line. Big Goff pulls him down there. So the Bucs are moving the ball well, and there's Vinny Testaverde on the sidelines. No helmet. He's just a spectator today.
No helmet and no headset. Now he is a spectator. I thought, usually when the starting quarterback goes down, you try to help and work with the offense some kind of way, but Vinny Testaverde is getting the day off.
Well, Mike Shula, they're signaling in the plays, which is his normal role on the sideline. You saw him in the orange shirt. He's the quarterback coach. Of course, son of Don. Perkins in the backfield. Bruce, not Ray. This is Anderson. Anderson has the first down. Tampa Bay tripped up by Sam Mills. This is a very good-looking offensive series for the Bucs.
It is, Tim. When you talk to the Buccaneers and Ray Perkins about his team, he'll tell you that our strong point is running the ball. We have some great drive blockers up front. All of our linemen are people who have come out of programs where they're accustomed to running the football. They'd rather do that than pass. And today, right now, they're controlling the line of scrimmage. Beckles and Rob Pietro on the right side are particularly good as drive blockers.
Jim Mora will be happy with this start here. He's got a solid defensive team, and the Bucs are moving at will. Chandler will run it inside the 5, dives for the touchdown, Tampa Bay. A 12-yard touchdown run for Chandler, and no hesitation on his part about getting into the end zone.
He got in there and spun in, Tim. Really a courageous run on Chandler's part. But again, he's an experienced quarterback, and he reads here, no one's open. He wants to go to his left side here, to number 88, Mark Carrier, but Toy Cook has him covered. Now he's going to run. Leaves his feet, complete head spin, and in for the touchdown.
Christie for the point after. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers open with some flash and dash, and Chris Chandler has impressed in the opening series. Tim Ryan, Irv Cross at the Superdome. 4:44 all that's left, and we've had only one series here in this first quarter. 10 minutes, 16 seconds off the clock. Chris Chandler, number 17, a 12-yard touchdown run to give the Bucs the early lead. Christie will kick it off. Atkins and Finnerty, the deep man for New Orleans. From the 4-yard line, Atkins. Steve Christie, the kicker, had to stop him. Atkins was flying right up the middle of the field. We'll be back in a moment.
Taking a look at this kickoff return by Gene Atkins, is well blocked up front. You can see as he comes up here, he hits the wedge, number 34, Ironhead Heyward. Gets a key block, clears things out. Now Christie is a safety man here. Atkins decides to try to run past him. Christie does a pretty good job of bringing him down. Really, I think, Tim, if Atkins had given himself just a little bit of a delay there, he probably could have run past Christie. But it was a great return.
42 yards out to the 44-yard line of New Orleans. Their first offensive play. Steve Walsh, quarterback. Hobie Brenner, the tight end, in motion. Reuben Mays, and he's piled up. Maybe a yard gain on the play. New Orleans offensively, Kevin Havertink, Dombrowski, Hilgenberg, Capillo, Brock, and Hobie Brenner. Reuben Mays and Craig Heyward, the running backs. Brett Perriman and Eric Martin, the wide receivers. Of course, the Saints still without Dalton Hilliard, but with the performances they got last week, 121 yards from Heyward, another 100-yard game from Mays. So far, they haven't missed Hilliard. Turns into a 3-yard gain for Mays on his second effort. Heyward. Heyward ran right through or off Kevin Murphy and turned that into about a 7-yard gain. Well, it's going to turn out to be about a 6-yard pickup, leaving 3rd and 1.
Tim, this guy enjoys carrying the football. Watch number 61, Hilgenberg, the center. He does a good job of controlling the nose tackle on Newton. One hand up, one hand out, stopping Newton right at the line of scrimmage, allowing Ironhead to get into the hole. Now watch what happens when the big guy gets ahead of steam going. It takes 6 people to bring him down.
Well, what a collision with Murphy. 3rd down, a long yard. Heyward comes out, and Finnerty comes in. Floyd Turner in at wide receiver. Steve Walsh didn't like something here, and that gets some boos. But again, the young quarterback is better off taking the timeout if he's unsure. Possession for New Orleans, coming off their victory over Cincinnati a week ago, getting themselves back into the playoff hunt. And as you see, they're tied for 2nd place. Even though San Francisco's way on top, the Saints, Rams, Atlanta all at 3 and 5. And you know, this playoff picture is going to go right down to the final game of the season in many, many cities. 3rd and short. They've got Heyward back in, and he has the first down. To the 35-yard line of Tampa Bay. 12-yard pickup.
Tim, give a lot of that yardage to the right guard, Steve Trapillo, who pulled and did a terrific job of kicking out the man on the line of scrimmage. Now, Ironhead Heyward, as big as he is, has surprising quickness. Well, he was up in the hole like a halfback. Here he is again, number 65. You see him pull right now. Bang, kick out the outside man. Now there's a hole there for Ironhead. And he does the rest of his own on his own.
First down to the 36-yard line. Ruben Mays. Mays fights his way to the 30 on a 6-yard gain. And the Saints repeating what the Bucs did in their opening series, running the ball effectively. Defensively for Tampa Bay, Ruben Davis, Tim Newton, the former Viking, now starting for Kurt Jarvis, who's on injured reserve, and Jim Scow on the right side. Outstanding linebackers, Thomas, Marv, Moss, and Murphy. We'll be seeing Keith McCants in there, and Irvin Randall as well. Reynolds, Haddix, Robinson, and Hamilton are the safeties. Perriman, Martin, and Floyd Turner. 3 wideouts in on this 2nd and 5. Heyward again, and Heyward dances his way to the 25-yard line, may have the first down.
Tim, we're seeing something a little different here. Here comes an active list of players who are out today. Tampa Bay, Tim, there they are.
Carlson and Ford, and for New Orleans, 2 starters, Hilliard and Wayne Martin. Jeff Carlson, the 3rd quarterback for the Bucs, so they're going with just Testaverde as the backup today. Jim Mora got to be happy with what he's doing offensively.
A strategic change, Tim. Normally when you have 3 wide receivers on the field, they pass the ball. That time, a run with Heyward.
1 setback now, and it's Mays, and they give it to him. Good tackle right at the line of scrimmage. Kevin Murphy. The little gain, if any. And Mays comes out. Heyward comes back in, and they go to 3 wides again. Kevin Murphy installed at that right outside linebacker spot. One of the changes made early in the season, moving Winston Moss inside, starting him ahead of Irvin Randall, and giving Murphy the right outside linebacker spot. You mentioned that, of course, Keith McCants, the #1 pick's been getting some time there as well. And we come to the end of the quarter before the play is underway. So at the end of the first quarter, the score, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7, the New Orleans Saints 0. 2nd down and 10. Heyward fell trying to make the cut. He pounds the turf in disgust. Still wound up with all of that 260-pound momentum, picking up about 3.
You can tell why he's upset, Tim, because he did have a hole there, and what he saw ahead of him was nothing but green. Take a look at this again. Again, tight end here. Hobie Brenner does a pretty good job of holding the corner. Now, Ironhead has to pick a hole, either go inside or outside. He elected to go outside, but as he was moving outside, he simply tripped. Oh, boy.
John Cannon comes in defensively along with Everett and Rice into the secondary on the passing down here inside the 25. 3rd down. Walsh to the tight end, and the ball comes loose. Recovered by New Orleans. Eric Martin. Now, will they call it a catch or not? Now, the Bucs say they have it. Bay football stopping the New Orleans opening drive. We're early in the 2nd period. Tim Ryan and Irv Cross. Harry Hamilton recovering the fumble by Eric Martin. Gary Anderson runs for about 6 out to the 19. Let's go back and have a look at that pass to Martin.
Well, it's a well-thrown ball by Steve Walsh, but Eric Martin finds himself coming across the middle of the field in a lot of traffic. Watch number 84 from the right to left of your screen. Makes the catch. Now here comes the safety, 30. Mark Robinson has a good beat on him, puts his helmet right in the middle of his chest, and forces that fumble. Bucs come up with a big turnover.
2nd down, 5. Reggie Cobb. 1st down, Tampa Bay. Got a good block from the wide receiver carrier. Troy Cook on the tackle.
Tim, we expected both teams to run the ball quite a bit, but I did not expect Tampa Bay to be able to control the line of scrimmage what they've done so far today.
Tampa Bay had 11 rushes in their opening drive for 48 yards and 4 passes, all of them complete, 4 of 4 by Chandler on that opening drive. New Orleans, of course, they like to run. They were rushing effectively on this drive. 6 rushes before they coughed it up. So both teams accomplishing what they wanted to. Of course, the turnovers have plagued both of them, and especially the New Orleans Saints until last week when they finally turned it around against the Bengals.
Well, they had a nightmarish game here not too long ago when Detroit came into the Superdome and had 8 turnovers, and Jim Mora said he's never experienced anything like that as a head coach.
And for the Bucs, for their part, they've had 18 turnovers in their last 3 games. They had 6 last week. It is a first down, Buccaneers. Anderson, nice running again for another 6 yards over the 30-yard line. Tim Ryan and Herb Cross at the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, where the Tampa Bay Bucs have taken the early lead 7-0, using up 10 minutes 16 seconds of first quarter time.
That's tough football, Tim, and it's very frustrating for a defensive team to have somebody hold the ball on you that long. And I guess the thoughts now from the Saints is, stop it, take the ball away.
Well, that's what the Saints like to do, is steal the clock from you, and they had their drive underway only to lose it on a fumble by Eric Martin. A tough hit on him. And Mark Robinson on second down. About a 3-yard pickup for Reggie Cobb. It'll leave third and a long yard.
Reggie Cobb coming here off his guard, Tim, finds himself confronted by a pretty good line charge here. Number 91, Pig Goff, beating the center, coming through making the play. Pig Goff, we have to concentrate on that now. We made a mistake in calling Robert yesterday, and he had a blank look in his face. He said, who? My name is Pig.
Been called that since he was a youngster, and of course he said, only when my mama calls me Robert I know she's angry at me. Otherwise it's Pig. Anderson, and he'll be close to the first down. A good defensive play. Sam Mills meeting him in the open field and trying to stop him short of the mark.
Tim, you couldn't have played it much better than the Saints played it defensively, though. Of course, the Saints, or the Tampa Bay, came up with yardage, but he had good pursuit. The corners came back, turned that play inside, and Sam Mills from his inside linebacker position and hot pursuit made the tackle. But Tampa Bay might want to put the first down here. A little short.
He stopped him, so Mills did the job here. Now it's 4th and about 3 inches. And Ray Perkins is going to punt the football. He's got the lead.
I'll tell you, that tells you what he thinks about the New Orleans Saints defense. He has a lot of respect for them.
Sam Mills, all-pro linebacker. I remember when this guy came out of the USFL. I mean, they laughed at him. Mora brought him over. He'd been on his team there. He said, this guy's going to play in the NFL. Who's kidding who here? Guy's an all-pro.
Tim,
He's been a terrific player.
No one laughs at him now, right? He's a tremendous player.
Bobby Morse is the punt returner, standing at the 22-yard line, waiting Royals punt. Vince Buck would normally be there, but he was dinged on a defensive play earlier in the first quarter. Morse takes it at the 18-yard line. Pretty good return. Flags everywhere as he got to the 32-yard line. Met there by Odie Harris. A 48-yard punt for Mark Royals, coming into the game with a 41.7 average. Discussion on the return flags. Bobby Morse's father, Jim Morse, a former Notre Dame football star, is here at the game to watch his son. Lives in Muskegon, Michigan, but has a box here. Has one of these Superdome boxes.
You keep track of all the golden numbers.
Receiving team, numbers 92 and number 83. Illegal block in the back. The penalty will be accepted for the rearmost foul, 10 yards, first down.
Winston and Scales both tagged with illegal blocks on the return, so that'll back it up. We'll be right back. At the Superdome. The Bucs with the early lead, 7-0, using up nearly 10 minutes of the first quarter with their opening drive, and a good start for Chris Chandler and certainly for the Buccaneers.
Well, no doubt about it. He's an experienced quarterback and composed quarterback, and on the run that he scored the touchdown on, it's really kind of exciting. He rolled out with every intention of throwing the ball, but found everybody covered. Here he is, Tim, now rolling out to his left, but Toy Cook, number 41, has Carrier well covered. So as he comes upfield, he realizes, I'm going to have to tuck this ball away and run. Hits the goal line. Cook making a tackle, and there he goes on a little
good front flip. Yeah.
How many points did they give him?
Like Mary Lou Retton there. I'd give him a 9-8 on that, and he gets 6 points on the scoreboard.
I thought his landing was shaky.
First down, Saints. Right on the money to Perriman. And a first down at the 35 for an NFL update. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Tim, at Buffalo, Phoenix jumped out to the early lead, but here come the Bills. Jim Kelly to Keith McKellar, 18 yards in the touchdown, and the point after has this game tied at 7 in the second quarter. Back to New Orleans, Tim and Herb.
Thank you, Greg. It's marked at the 32-yard line here, a 15-yard gain. Walsh, a perfectly delivered ball to his former Miami teammate, Brett Perriman. Ruben Mays gets about 2 out the right side. Eugene Marv making the stop.
Tim, watch this play. Ironhead Heyward comes across, ends up being a blocking back for Ruben Mays. So he's such an incredible athlete, really. Watch this. Starts up inside, then comes back, wham, makes a trap block with some assistance by number 72, Jim Dombrowski. Didn't get much yardage on him, but that kind of a play over a period of time could wind up being a big play for New Orleans.
2nd and 8. You can see the Bucs have had the ball most of this half, mainly because of that opening drive and the turnover by the Saints. Ruben Mays, good running. Just short of the first down. It'll leave 3rd and less than a yard. Keith McCants in the game now defensively on the tackle with cornerback Wayne Haddix. 7-yard run. Steve Walsh had some shaky moments in the victory last week against the Bengals, but as he pointed out to us when we talked to him, you know, he made the passes when he needed them in a couple of key drives for New Orleans.
He not only pointed it out, he emphasized it to you, Tim.
He did,
I made the key passes and the key drive when we needed it.
Well, I think what came out after the game, too, is that Cincinnati's defense showed him a few things the Saints had not expected. And again, this is a young quarterback, so he did have a few problems. He won. 3rd and a yard. Heyward for the first down to the 46-yard line of New Orleans.
One thing you cannot do is tackle Ironhead Heyward high. Number 79, Reuben Davis, had a clean shot at him coming down from his defensive end position, went up high, and Heyward just shook him off. Now Davis is a guy who's about 285 pounds and couldn't control Heyward coming through the hole. He's a little upset with himself for missing that tackle. He had a clean shot at him and missed it.
Word that Greg Scales has been injured. The 3rd tight end, they use him fairly extensively. He's got a sprained elbow and will not return to the game. That'll change things a little bit. Walsh sets up the screen for Mays. Ruben Mays gets about 7 on first down. Into Tampa Bay territory, steered out by Keith McCants.
Tim, when you have the running game going, you can do almost anything you want. Play action passing is very good. Screens and draws are also very good. Here's a screen here. The offensive line simulating a pass, block, hold a count, and here they come, slipping out to the right. Joe Hilgenberg, 61, and Dombrowski, number 72, leading the way for Ruben Mays on the screen. A very effective play. Again, because you're able to run the ball, you can control the line of scrimmage and mix up your play selection this way.
2.5 yards needed for a first down. Heyward. Ran right through Ricky Reynolds inside the 30.
Tim, when you look at this run, you can appreciate Heyward's power. First of all, it's well blocked at the point of attack. Hobie Brenner, a tight end, number 85, comes back inside, or 82 actually. John Tyson's there holding the corner. Now, Ironhead has good enough speed to get outside. Now, here comes number 29. When a head-on-head tackle, one-on-one, Ricky Reynolds can't stop him. The big guy just ran right through him.
Reuben Davis ranged a long way back to make the tackle. First down, New Orleans inside the 30 of Tampa Bay. Mays to the 25. Eugene Marv made the tackle. Well, this looks a lot like last week against Cincinnati for the Saints. Both Mays and Heyward sharing the load and running effectively.
Yeah, but Tim, a little bit of a difference. Last week, it was Heyward inside, Mays outside. Today, what I'm seeing is Heyward starting inside and sliding to the outside if it's there, and Mays coming inside. So he sort of reversed the assignments with the tailback hitting up inside and the big guy with enough speed to get around the corners.
Each has carried 6 times. Heyward for 46 yards. Mays for 21. This time they stuff him. Good defensive pursuit by the Buccaneers. Loss of about 2, maybe 3 on the play. Keith McCants and Marv coming up well to make the stop.
Bucks played it very well, but again, you have to honor both those guys. This is what happened last week, Tim, with last week Craig Heyward running for 122 yards and Mays 115, and that's the best they've done in a long time here.
Well, the last time a pair of running backs each had more than 100 for the Saints was back in 1976. Galbraith and Muncie. Those two guys were great players, each in their own right. They're down in 7. Walsh, he's got Perriman. Touchdown.
Tim, this is a key play for a lot of reasons. First of all, he had good pass protection up front, so Walsh had time to throw the ball. He makes a delivery to his favorite target, number 80, Brett Perriman, next teammate of his from the University of Miami. A couple of weeks ago, he told us Perriman could be one of the greatest receivers in the league if we can keep his confidence up. I like to go to him early in the game because he can be a game breaker. That's one right there today, a 26-yard strike to Perriman.
Morton Anderson has the point after. We are tied. A 26-yard scoring strike. Steve Walsh to Brett Perriman, and Walsh throwing with authority right on the money to tie it up. Saints owner Tom Benson, middle of your screen there, a smile there to a friend as his team is on the board, having tied it at 7 here. .83 yards in 9 plays, 5:25 off the clock. Saints-style football, a 26-yard strike from Steve Walsh to Brett Perriman. Danny Peebles waits for it in the end zone, a yard deep, and he decides to bring it out, nearly dropped the ball. A flag down, he only got to the 6. Ryan Ford made the tackle. And Peebles a little slow to get up. There was a flag on the play.
Tim, this play is a disaster. Peebles comes in and he doesn't quite touch the inline. He could have stayed in the end zone. He thought he was on the field of play and elected to come out. Now, when he was tackled here, he wound up injuring his leg. Number 52, Ryan Ford, making the tackle.
Illegal block in the back. Number 89 receiving team. Half the distance penalty. First down.
Jesse Anderson charged with a penalty. That'll back him up inside the 5. Tied at 7, 5:21 to go first half at the Superdome. Danny Peebles is still down, taking the hit from Brian Ford on the kickoff return. And they're going to take him off. As you can see, they're going to have him carried off. And we'll obviously pass on the extended word on the injury as soon as we get it. Danny Peebles, reserve wide receiver, a great speedster, sprinter in college, and becoming a more important man in their pass attack, and now suffers an injury here on the kick return. So Ray Perkins concerned, of course, on behalf of his player, as Peebles will be carried off, taken off on the little truck down here. So taking a quick look around the league here as this playoff picture, as you can see, with a few teams doing so well at the top. There's San Francisco and the Giants still unbeaten. surprise rough seas, if you will, for the Rams, Minnesota, Cleveland. But what that's done, Herb, has kept a lot of teams involved in the playoff picture. You get a few contenders that don't do so well. Suddenly that keeps everybody else in. Coming later today, you'll see the unbeaten Giants against the struggling LA Rams. The Rams knocking the Giants out of playoff championship hopes last year. On first down, the Saints stuff the Tampa Bay Bucks. Gary Anderson. They have to start from their 4-yard line after the penalty, the illegal block on the punt on the kickoff return. No gain on that play. Minnesota with an early lead over Detroit. Phoenix giving Buffalo a hard time so far. Second down and 10. Reggie Cobb struggles for about 3 yards, met by Jim Wilkes, number 94, the right defensive end. Crowd of about 65,000 here at the Superdome today, and having just watched their team tie it up at 7 here in the first half. Pass from Walsh to Perriman. Defensive and offensive substitutions on the third down play. Harvey and Pillow and Drury come in. Now Peebles would be in the 3 wide receiver set. So it's Willie Drury in that spot now. Chris Chandler, the quarterback, if you joined us along the way, his second start. From the end zone, the ball is loose. And it will be New Orleans ball inside the 1. Ronaldo Turnbull came up with it. Now let's see whether the Saints are going to have the ball or not. It is Tampa ball. We cannot hear the public address announcement. Let's see what happens.
Number 57, Ricky Jackson makes a play. Tim coming out the corner from a stand-up linebacker position, demonstrating great speed. He's their all-time sacker here in New Orleans. Again, watch, 57 at the top of your screen, beats the tackle's block here, makes the hit. Now the ball's knocked out of Chandler's hand. That's a fumble. Let's see who recovers it. Well, right now, I don't know. Look like New Orleans had it.
Defensive holding penalty against the Saints on the play, but I believe they ruled that an incomplete pass.
Oh, no. Should have been a fumble.
On first down, a pass knocked down by Sam Mills, intended for Ron Hall. And evidently that defensive penalty against the New Orleans Saints wiped out the fumble recovery. And it was, we're now being told, illegal contact before the fumble.
Okay. Well, the Saints would have recovered the ball otherwise if it hadn't been for that penalty.
Right, the penalty against New Orleans. So it cost them possession of the ball. Not ruled an incomplete pass. And the fans, of course, are not happy about these developments. Chandler gets a life out at the 12-yard line. Second down. A flag on the play. Out for Cobb. Cobb straight arms his way out to the 19-yard line. Cook and Maxey trying to stop him there, short of the first down. And it's going to be offside against New Orleans.
Tim, what's happened here is the Saints have decided to be more aggressive on defense. They've run a series of blitzes here, knocking the ball out of Chandler's hand.
Number 57 defense, 5 yards, repeat second down.
Near the goal line, and this time the linebackers jamming up inside, want to get a good push right in Chandler's face. Number 51, Mills is there. Now watch 57, Ricky Jackson. He wants to get a quick start. He's in the neutral zone, offside. But the last 2 or 3 series plays we've seen that Saint defense come in there with some kind of a blitz to try to put more heat on Chandler.
It leaves a 2nd and 5 for the Buccaneers at their own 18. Anderson, not much. A couple of yards. Saints plug up the middle. Sam Mills at the bottom of that. Michael Simmons, number 96, a first-year man from Mississippi State, coming over to help. It'll be 3rd down and 2. 7-7 game. 2:53 to go, first half.
That's a little bit of a lineup change, Tim. Michael Simmons, number 76, playing in Ronaldo Turnbull's spot, who started last week. The rookie from West Virginia had a good game, but Simmons apparently plays a run better than Turnbull.
Chandler intended for Anderson, incomplete. Threw that one into the turf. And so the Buccaneers will have to punt. So Chandler getting off to a good start, 4 of 4 in the opening drive. And gave the Bucs a 7-0 lead and used up more than 10 minutes on the clock. But now the Saints stop them here and force the punt. Bobby Morse back to receive. Punt from Mark Royals. Morse standing at the New Orleans 36.
Tim, the Saints have a decided edge today in special teams play. They had a nice long kickoff return, had a punt return that was almost broken before this one, and here's another chance. This is well blocked.
Morse gets to midfield, stopped there by Sam Ano, a 39-yard punt by Royals. We'll be right back. Cadillac commercial. He's driving something a little bit older. Well, it is a GM car, Herb, but it's a 1939 Chevy. Isn't that a beauty?
It really is. It's in great shape. He told me he has 99,000 miles on it. I said, is that all? He said, yeah, the meter stopped there some years ago.
I wonder if he bought that from his owner, Tom Benson. I don't know whether he handles those kinds of automobiles.
He bought it at an auction, and he's really quite proud of it.
Stan Brock, a veteran tackle. 32 years of age, out of Colorado, the right tackle, and his team has a first down near midfield after Morse's punt return. 2:17 to go, first half. Reuben Mays got about 3 before he was driven back by Tim Newton and Eugene Marv. And we are reaching the 2-minute warning. In a tie football game at the Superdome. Bucs scored first. New Orleans tied it up here in the second. CBS Sports. New Orleans with the football in midfield. They have 2 timeouts remaining. 2 minutes to play in the first half. Steve Walsh taking a timeout earlier when he didn't like the look of the defense. Commissioner Paul Tagliabue is attending the game today and in the owner's box with Tom Benson and the Saints. Got good eyesight, doesn't need the binoculars. 2nd and 7 for New Orleans. One setback is Heyward. Touchdown! That is an automated bowling ball when he gets going. 47 yards. Watch him take out these Bucs like pins.
The key here, though, Tim, is he had 2 tight ends lined up to one side. It was almost like an unbalanced line. The Saints really had the Tampa Bay defense outflanked. They had more offensive blockers and defensive players. That's the result. Let this guy get in the open field. Who in the world is going to stop him by themselves? No one. Touchdown, New Orleans.
Well, he bowled over both Hamilton and Reynolds to get into the end zone.
This happened to Ricky Reynolds for a second time. You think he has a headache now?
Morton Anderson, believe, called timeout on the point after.
4 yards. Repeat the try.
I guess they ran out of time.
You were asking me during the commercial break, Tim, what will the Saints do here? So you keep running the ball. They get about 12, 15 yards. They'll be well within Morton Anderson's field goal range. So here they come with a run right off their left guard. A well-conceived play again. The Saints had more offensive blockers than Tampa Bay had defensive players, and resulted in a touchdown.
Well, now it's a 25-yard point after for Anderson. And he's got it. And we'll be back at the Superdome in a moment.
Here, Irv, I'm going to either block or run, depending on what Coach Mora wants me to do. Doesn't make any difference, but I really have fun carrying the ball.
He's getting a call from President Bush here, maybe.
And he's not on the new headset either.
The longest play against the Buccaneers this season, and the longest scoring play by the Saints this year. 47 yards. John Harvey and Drury are the deep men. Now, of course, Peebles injured on the last kickoff return. Not out there where he would normally be as a deep man.
Okay.
Drury from the 1. Loose ball. Let's see who got it. Morton Anderson had a chance to fall on that ball, and looked like he decided maybe I won't bother. I think I'm sure he was making a very sensible decision to preserve his valuable kicking leg.
All right. Well, watch this, though. Morton Anderson, number 7, has a chance to fall on this fumble, but he elects to pass it up. Just drop on it, Morton. Drop on it. Well, try to pick it up. What you have to do is just lower your body on it and caress that ball. He could have recovered it. And, well, we have to give him some interceptions, some fumble recovery drills. That's all. He's accustomed to kicking the ball, not picking up fumbles.
Bruce Perkins came up with the ball for the Tampa Bay Bucks, and then they were evidently penalized on the return because it's back at the 20-yard line. So the Buccaneers maintain possession. Nearly coughed it up to New Orleans, still with 1:42 to play. Little drop play for Gary Anderson, and the Saints swarm to the football. Loss of a yard. Turnbull and Mills on the stop.
Tim, let's take a look at the blocking of that last touchdown run by Ironhead Heyward. The key here against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive players, 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive players in the line of scrimmage. Look what happens. You have more offensive blockers and defenders to control the line of scrimmage. There goes Heyward, scot-free. Everybody's blocked, and he rambles into the end zone for a touchdown.
Second and 10. Gary Anderson, a diving catch back to the ball. An effort by Gary Anderson on the pass from Chandler, and a flag on the play, however. 54 seconds remaining first half. Just to clarify on the kickoff return, penalties against Tampa Bay. There was no penalty once Drury coughed it up, even though it was recovered upfield by the Buccaneers. Of course, he could not advance. They could not advance the ball since it wasn't Drury who came up with the ball, so it was back where he fumbled it.
Holding,
They started.
74 offense, 10 yards, repeat, second down.
Paul Gruber charged with holding on the play, and that'll back it up to the 10-yard line. You saw a look of disgust from Ray Perkins.
Tim.
At halftime, Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw will have all the scores and highlights and latest information from around the league. Second down and 20. Perkins for about 4 yards, close to the 15, and the Saints defensively starting to shut down the Buccaneers.
New Orleans, number 2, 40-second timeout.
And the Saints take a timeout with 46 seconds left to play. They hope to get the ball back. Bucks keeping him penned in back there, but that's kind of unusual for number 74.
Well, no doubt about it. It's his first holding penalty since October 16th, 1988. He just doesn't do that, but apparently Jim Wilkes was a handful, and he wound up grabbing some of his jersey.
And it came on a running play, too. Interesting. Pillow and Drury, John Harvey all in as receivers, along with Carrier and Hill. Chandler gets it out to Mark Carrier, and Carrier gets to the 20-yard line. It'll be the 4th down. And the Buccaneers will punt. And the Saints again take the final timeout that they have in this first half, and hoping to have 1 or 2 plays when they get the ball. Line of scrimmage at the 21-yard line of Tampa. 14-7, New Orleans lead on Craig Heyward's 47-yard touchdown run.
Tim, he's just been awesome the last few weeks. You just wonder if Coach Mora is thinking now about maybe letting him run a little bit more. You know, giving the ball 25, 30 times a game. That's not normally his style in approaching a game plan. He goes into a game plan saying that we're going to do what we have to do depending on how the game is dictated to us. We might run or might block him. Boy, he's a lot of fun to watch carrying the football.
Now this game is presented by authority of the National Football League. The CBS telecast intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use without the express written consent of CBS, the Saints, and the NFL is prohibited. Punt comes down to the 34-yard line. Well, it's spotted at the 36. Out of bounds over there. So Royals doing the job of not giving the Saints a return opportunity. But they still have 28 seconds left to make a couple of plays here.
28 seconds and 2 timeouts, and they're at the 40-yard line. If they can get about 30 yards here, and again, they'll be well within Morton Anderson's field goal range. He's got one of the longest legs in the league, and 45, 50-yard kick really isn't much of a challenge for him. So I'm sure they're probably thinking that way now. Let's get in field goal range and decide what we want to do with the ball after that.
Little shovel pass, incomplete, intended for Finnerty, and a flag down late. Let's see what Gordon McCarter and his head linesman come up with here. That is Dave Anderson, head linesman number 81. Walsh 4 of 4 passing until that play.
There is no foul. The forward pass, first hit an eligible receiver. It's merely an incomplete pass, 2nd down.
An incomplete pass as Finnerty can hold on to the little shovel pass.
But the reason why it was incomplete, though, is that Keith McCants from his outside linebacker position was coming through in a blitz, and he was actually in the backfield when the ball was passed forward. That's why it was dropped.
So 2nd and 10 for the Saints. Their 35-yard line. Same play. Finnerty met by 5 Buccaneers. Not a lot of blocking help out that side. Only about a 4-yard pickup.
It's kind of an unusual call because they tried it early on, couldn't get away with it, but they would have thought maybe they worked the sidelines here or something. Stop the clock. They have a couple of timeouts.
Well, they're going to run out of time here.
They're going to let it go.
Well, that was a reasonably ugly final series of plays for the New Orleans Saints. That's the end of the first half with the score. Well, now wait a minute. It isn't the end of the first half. We've got there's a good scene on the field here. We've got the halftime show. We've got all of the Buccaneers. We've got the entire official staff.
I misread the clock here, Tim. The Saints did not have any timeouts left. They couldn't stop the clock.
Because of our inability to get a ball in from the sideline, I am determining that there are 4 seconds remaining in the half. There's time for a play.
Okay. In other words, they said, hey, it was our fault we didn't get a ball in, so they couldn't get the play off. We're going to put 4 seconds back up there, and the Saints get another life. They'll have a 3rd down from their 40-yard line and a chance to chuck one deep here if that's their intent. But really, the Saints didn't manage these last 2 or 3 plays very well here. Having called the timeouts to give themselves an opportunity, they haven't done anything with it. Finnerty again, and that's incomplete right off his hands, but Murphy was right with him the whole way. So that is now the end of the first half with the score, the New Orleans Saints 14, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7. Our coverage continues after this word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
An accidental poisoning, and your toddler's life hangs in the balance.
I didn't think that I'd see her alive again.
On Rescue 911, Tuesday.
This is CBS.
We're going to give them a corporate rate that the corporate travel manager will approve, and we're going to offer the flyer a real, live, first-class seat in the process.
It's the program for the business flyer.
Travel agent said, do you want to fly in the back on Delta or on the front on Eastern? Take your choice, same price. Chose Eastern, flew in the front.
Eastern can offer me a first-class ticket at a coach fare. I think that's terrific.
I pretty much tell my travel agent which flight to put me on. What I'll be telling her is put me on Eastern. Put me on Eastern.
Colts, Buccaneers, Lions, Cowboys, Seahawks, Rams.
After the teams chose the inspiration for their names, they chose GTE, the telecommunications consultant to the NFL. Imagine what GTE could do for you.
Hurry into Circuit City now for great guaranteed low prices on top-brand audio, video, appliances, and more. Like the Sharp 13-inch color TV with remote, now $188.97. And this Panasonic audio system with remote, just $269.97. Enjoy great low prices guaranteed for 30 days, every day. And a top-brand selection that's simply unbeatable. At Circuit City, where service is state-of-the-art.
Lloyd Sowers, tonight on Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
Welcome back to our New York studios, everyone. This is doubleheader day here on CBS. Later this afternoon, some of you will see the Packers play the Raiders, who are sitting atop the AFC West. Most will see the unbeaten New York Giants take on the Rams in Anaheim. Earlier today, Pat Summerall and John Madden visited with Giants head coach Bill Parcells.
The inevitable question, how would you compare this team with the Super Bowl team of 1986?
Super Bowl team was much more dominant on defense. This team has more firepower on offense. It's not as restricted. We got more people that can do things. I think this team's more versatile offensively. Special teams on this team are far superior to 86. But defensively, we're not. Yeah, in 86, we had 7 guys up front, and you couldn't block any of them hardly. So that's not the case right now.
Bill, how good is your team? How good is this Giant team?
Well, John, it's, you know, it's the rabbit and the tortoise. I don't really know at this point in time. The thing I'm happy about is we won 6 division games out of our first 7, and I think they're the most important games. If we can put 2 or 3 more wins together, then right now, then we're going to start giving some people some real problems. But I just think it's too early to tell. There are too many variables left. It's too early. I don't really know.
You seem to be enjoying coaching this team.
Well, they're listening well. You know, we haven't had a lot of real adversity yet, and other than one game, we've been playing from in front most of the time, and it's a little easier to coach when you're in front.
Thanks very much, Bill. It's always nice to be able to visit with a friend.
Thank you, Pat.
Terry, if there was ever a motive for revenge, the Giants have it against the Rams today.
Exactly, and good football teams do get even. There is revenge here, and I'd expect the Giants today to snap a 3-game losing streak to the Rams.
All right, Giants and the Rams coming up later for most of you here on CBS. Right now, time to send you back to the stadium in the game you're watching here on CBS.
Well, here at the Superdome, halftime, the Saints and the Buccaneers, and the Saints leading by a score of 14-7. 20 years ago this week, they had quite an historic event here, known as the Kick.
Will try to kick the longest field goal in National League history. Scarpetti will hold. 2 seconds left. Here's a stop. The ball is down. Dempsey kicks. It's on the way. It is good. It's good. It's good. It's good. The Saints have won. The Saints have won. The stadium is won.
Tom Dempsey, who sells cars now for Saints owner Tom Benson. Saints lead it 14-7.
Lots of men have heard about minoxidil. And lots of men have heard about Rogaine. But lots of men don't know that only Rogaine has minoxidil. And only your doctor can prescribe Rogaine. For more information, call this number now.
If you're wondering whether Rogaine is for you, call this number, and we'll give you an incentive to find out. A certificate worth $10 toward a consultation visit with your doctor. Call 1-800-556-4800.
Some people think it's a great idea for you to buy a second-rate antifreeze. Not all antifreeze is the same. Nothing beats Presto. And that's something you might appreciate down the road.
When it comes to high performance, no regular battery performs better or longer than a Duracell. You can't top the copper top.
No one can guarantee you a perfect world. A world where the unexpected never intrudes. But some of us know we'll be taken care of, quickly and compassionately. In an imperfect world, you're in good hands with Allstate, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
When Jim cracks up, Murphy remembers when she was down.
You were in the cab, on the plane, trying to get me off the luggage carousel in Palm Springs.
Will he recover? Murphy Brown, Monday. Tuesday, John Candy's moving in.
He's a little out there, but he's responsible. And he's family.
Oh! And he's rewriting the book on parenting. For the first time on any television, John Candy.
I've been leaving the toilet seats up.
Is Uncle Buck. Tuesday.
Is that what the blue water is? It's not good for him.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Oldsmobile. See what's new from the new generation of Olds. Norelco Lift and Cut Shavers for a new level of closeness and comfort. And by America's favorite light beer, Miller Lite, the sole sponsor of the NFL Player of the Year Award.
Little Creole Cajun cuisine at the Superdome there. New Orleans Saints leading 14-7 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tim Ryan and Irv Cross here at the Superdome, and the Bucs opened the scoring here with a very impressive opening drive. Chris Chandler at quarterback, marched them right down the field, passed well, but only 4 times. They ran the ball very well.
Well, he's very effective. Here's a touchdown that Chris Chandler did run in there. He went back to throw the ball outside. The carrier couldn't find him, and then elects to run here. Does a pretty good job getting himself into the end zone, and Toy Cook, number 41, makes contact here as he does a flip into the end zone.
All right, and I think for Chandler, that was important for him to get off that well. Here's Heyward's 47-yard touchdown run that sent New Orleans up 14-7.
This is really an impressive run. Of course, it's well blocked up front, and Heyward, confronting a defensive back, just ignores him, stiff arms him, and then rambles into the end zone.
Well, this is the opening kickoff of the second half of play with the home team on top, 14-7. And Gene Atkins brings it out just shy of the 20-yard line. And so Steve Walsh will have the ball first as we begin the second half here on a 7-point margin in favor of the home team. And in that first half, you can see the Saints with 116 yards rushing to 77. And that 7.7 average largely made up by Ironhead Heyward. First down.
You took it off me, I swore. You're late down here.
Ruben Mays. Mays has a good hold. And Mays all the way out to the 35-yard line.
You really wonder what's going on here, Tim. Again, Ruben Mays does a good job of picking the hole off his right tackle. Stan Brock and Hobie Brenner on the point of attack do a good job of blocking down, cleaning everybody out of there. And here comes Ruben picking his way through the hole for a big run. That's about a 12-yard run, just weaving his way in and out of a lot of traffic there. But the key again, though, is that Hobie Brenner and Stan Brock were able to collapse the defense down inside.
Well, you can see both these teams wanting to run the ball today and doing it very effectively. Ruben Mays seems to get stronger with every run, coming back off his series of injuries. Heyward blasts his way for close to another 10 yards. A little extracurricular activity at the end of that play. Not sure what brought that about. Maybe they're getting tired of being run over by Ironhead.
Well, if you can't tackle him when he's carrying the ball, jump on him when he's down. And I think it's just, you know, you get a little. The late hit there really by Trapillo was the one offensively. Number 65 Trapillo was the one who's going to probably get called. There wasn't any penalty, but there was some extra. Here he goes. The 65 watch Trapillo kind of bounce in here. He's trying to get a block, clean things out. Rule number 1 in pro football, Tim, is you never stand around a pile. So things like that happen. That's right. Ricky Reynolds gets knocked off there.
102 yards on the day for Heyward. We're just in the second half. A loose ball. Well, the turnover plague has afflicted both of these teams, and it looks like the Saints get lucky here. As the ball came loose, Heyward chopping it up, but the Saints have recovered.
Heyward's pretty sure-handed normally, Tim, but let's see what happens on this exchange as Walsh spins out, puts the ball. It's really in there. He really he knocks it out with his right hand. His left arm is up to receive the ball, but as the ball was placed in there, he sort of punched it out with his right hand, so it really wasn't nestled in the pocket properly. Have to work on those exchanges. They have a lot of trouble here, particularly with Walsh and Finnerty on the exchanges.
Looked like Stan Brock might have been the man that covered for the Saints alertly. First down. Mays, oh, good defensive play. Blasting in was Robinson, the safety on a blitz, and in the backfield at about the time that Mays got the ball.
You have to do like this. You have to have a play like this, Tim, when you're successful running off tackle to the outside. We talked a number of times about how effective the Saints were with having Heyward come across as a blocking back, almost like another guard. You want to bring an additional defender up there. The Buccaneers elect to do it this time with Mark Robinson, the strong safety, who just blitzed in the corner, making the play.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Walsh for Scales, and it's incomplete. Greg Scales, we were told earlier, was not going to return to the game with an elbow injury, but he's been back out there for a couple of series. And it'll be 3rd down. John Cannon seeing some more defensive time at the right end, where Jim Scow has been the starter since coming over from Cincinnati, and Goff being traded here to New Orleans. But John Cannon, a valuable starter and backup over 9 years with the Bucs, has replaced Scow out there, and I think that has to mean that that they've been running effectively, perhaps a little more to that side, and punishing Scow. 3rd down. Walsh intended for Eric Martin, too high, incomplete. So the Bucs hold, and New Orleans will have to punt. Eric Martin, the leading pass receiver for New Orleans, 33 catches coming into the game. Had no chance on that one. Barnhart will punt, standing at his 29. And the deep man is Willie Drury at the 15-yard line of Tampa Bay. Pretty good rush by the Bucs. Good effort by Barnhart. Fair caught at the 15-yard line, where Tampa Bay will begin when we return to the Superdome. 14-7 Saints. Cross, 3rd quarter, Superdome, 14-7. New Orleans Saints lead. Bucs have it 1st down from their 15, and coming up next, the Giants and the Rams. Who do you like there, the unbeaten Giants or the Rams are really needed at home?
Well, the Rams need it, but I like the Giants big, Tim. You know, the Giants have the best pass offense in the league, and the Rams are really struggling defensively.
On 1st down, Reggie Cobb gets about 2. Sam Mills and making Pig Goff with the initial contact, number 91. Former Buccaneer. He was eager to play this game. The nice thing about Goff, when we talked to him, was asking him about how he felt about being traded over here, sent away from Tampa Bay. He didn't want to leave, but he said, hey, I have no hard feelings towards Ray Perkins. And when you talked to Ray Perkins last night, he said, you know, we both cried a little bit. They really have a very nice, close relationship. But it was something that the Bucs felt they had to do. Big Goff found himself a starting home here on the nose. Anderson gets about 4. Big Goff said that he played nose tackle in college. He was used as a defensive end at Tampa Bay, so he's just getting comfortable again on the nose. There's that Saints offensive line getting ready for the next series.
They had a big week last week. They have another big week this week. The offensive line received something called attaboy hats. They give out game balls, one game ball, an offensive player, defensive player, and a special teams player. And for those players that had outstanding games, the coach gives them something he calls an attaboy hat. The offensive line received one last week.
Third down and 3. Chandler under pressure is sacked. Ball loose, but play is dead at the 13-yard line. Chandler wrapped up by 3 Saints, and he is hurt.
Boy, the pressure, Tim. What the Saints want to do is try to put pressure right in front of Chandler, force him back out of the pocket. They say, you know, collapse. They're putting pressure in the pocket right in the middle. Now watch, again, the end's coming upfield. Number 94 doing a pretty good job. Jim Wilkes keeping him contained, but then the pressure comes inside, and Chandler is stuffed.
Wilkes made the first contact on him, and then a lot of the Saints teammates got there, and Chandler leaves under his own power. And he took a pretty good lick. So it's 4th down. Chandler will get a chance to compose himself again, as Royals will have to punt from the end zone. The Saints defense has been improving with each series, and the Bucs are having more trouble moving the ball. Expect the rush here with the Royals in the end zone. Good protection for him. Good kick. Morse falls down. Did it hit him? The Buccaneers down it at the 35. Odie Harris. And Harris, I know, saying, hey, that ball hit the punt returner. Oh, that's what Harris is hot about. He thinks it ought to be Bucs ball. We'll be back.
Back here to receive this kick. Watch where the ball hits. As it comes down, it looked like the first shot we had to hit him in the back. It clearly doesn't. It bounces a full yard away from him. So the ball remains the Saints football.
Now there was a penalty against the Bucs. There's Mora. Mora saying what we are assuming that what Mora saw is what they wound up calling, and that is that Harris, coming downfield, had stepped out of bounds and come back onto the field of play. That's illegal procedure against the punting team. And where we thought that Harris was perhaps complaining that the ball had hit Morse and therefore should have been Tampa Bay ball, evidently he was complaining about the call on him. So they're going to punt it over again. And Bobby Morse, who had stumbled trying to catch the ball, saw it come down very near him. In fact, it looked like he may have decided to roll away so the ball wouldn't hit him.
He did a pretty good job
for being alert.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job as he was falling. He maneuvered his body at the same time and rolled away from the ball. Had he not been able to do that, it probably would have hit him right in the middle of the back.
So Tampa will kick it over again is the bottom line on this thing. Royals again standing a yard deep in the end zone. Saints showing rush once more. Again, good protection by the Bucs. Morse this time has his feet under him, and fair catches it at the 44-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. Well, next week, an important college football doubleheader. You'll see Texas against TCU. The Texas victory over Houston yesterday places the Longhorns on the top of the SWC on the way to a Cotton Bowl bid, they hope. Game 2, we'll see Tennessee against Mississippi. And Archie Manning, who covers the radio broadcast of the Saints here, the former great Saints quarterback, was also a great quarterback at Ole Miss. 12 of their university passing records belong to that guy, and he's excited about that game. He thinks Ole Miss could well be in the Sugar Bowl. So that's an important one next week. Heyward gets about 4. Chicago on top of Atlanta. Buffalo now widening the lead over Phoenix. It'll be 2nd down and 7. You know, I was talking to Archie Manning down on the field before the game. And we were talking about this new wireless headset that you described on the NFL Today for us, Irv. And he said, you know, it's going to put a lot of people out of work who carry those cables around for the coaches if the thing goes around the league. He said when he played, Bum Phillips was the coach, and he used to have a lot of his country music singer friends. They'd get free sideline passes and pull the cable for him. They were called the getaway coaches. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Mays breaks through nicely for a gain of about 5. It'll be third and about a yard. I said, well, why did they call them the getaway coach? He said, well, their job while they were carrying Bum's cable was to get out there near the sideline and tell the players to get away from the sideline so they wouldn't be penalized for stepping on the field. And that was their job. Bum assigned them. Guys like Mo Bandy and some of those other country singers that were friends of Bum Phillips.
Well, thank heavens we have a new technology available now. The spread spectrum is what this headset is called. It's a wideband radio system that is secure, and no one can intercept the signal.
Scanner-proof, huh?
Scanner-proof, yes.
3rd and 2. Now in Tampa Bay territory, and Heyward blasts his way for the first down inside the 45 of Tampa Bay.
This kind of a drive, Tim, is tough. I mean, really tough football for both offensive and defensive lines. Again, look at the pace he's on. Last week he rushed for 122 yards. Today 108. He's just into the 3rd quarter here now. But when you have these drives where you're going pounding inside hard for 4 or 5 yards of the crack, really takes its toll. When you have a big back like Craig Heyward, you can almost intimidate the defense with him.
At the 45-yard line, first down. Walsh has thrown only 9 passes, 5 of 9, and it's Heyward again. Craig Heyward inside the 30. Another Saints first down, and he ran through Kevin Murphy. Roderick Thomas finally pulled him down. He's been running through a lot of different Bucks.
Watch this, Tim. Hilgenberg getting a key block here, allowing Ironhead to make the play. Again, collapsing the middle. It's very important in a 3-man line to be tough and solid in the middle. If the nose guard is collapsed, you get runs like this. Now the running back can go from his center all the way over to his tackle to make his cuts.
16-yard gain, 124 yards on the day, and here he goes again. That's his 13th carry. Tripped up by Harry Hamilton, but not before he picks up another 8.
I wonder what he's thinking right now. Not Hamilton, but Ironhead. Yesterday he told me, he said, Irv, I don't know if I'm going to be the running back tomorrow or the blocking back, but I'm going into the game prepared to do whatever Coach Mora wants me to do. He carried the ball 13 times right now, and I guess he's gotten the message. He wants you to carry the mail today.
Well, that's the first sign of heavy breathing we've seen there by Heyward. Finally drew a heavy breath. They're going to go again. And this time they get him. And it was Mark Robinson coming up from safety. And he's now walking a little bit slowly there, Heyward. They might give him a little blow here shortly.
I think he may want to breathe, but again, trying to work out his left guard and tackle. You see what happens here at the point of attack. The defense does a pretty good job controlling the line of scrimmage. They really know where to go. Mark Robinson coming up from his safety position fills nicely. That's a key play. But, I think Ironhead would probably like to have a break here. Huh?
Well, they're leaving him in on this 3rd down. They have joined him in the backfield with Reuben Mays now. 3rd down. This is a big 3rd down play for the Saints, and more so for the Bucks, down by 7. Good protection for Walsh, and it's complete to Perriman. First down, New Orleans. To the 18-yard line of Tampa Bay. Walsh keeping that ball low and safe in the middle. Perriman digging it out.
You can throw a pass like this, Tim, when you have good coordination with your wide receivers. Now, Walsh and Perriman work together at the University of Miami. He knows that Perriman can handle a catch like this very easily, settling inside for the hook pattern, making the catch. Now, they call Perriman Superman because he has great jumping ability.
From the 14-yard line, the Saints threatening. Heyward tries to get outside and now cuts inside to the 6. Left side of that line is where they've had a lot of success. I mentioned earlier that The Buccaneers had moved in John Cannon over there where Scow had started the game. Scow has always been a somewhat undersized defensive end when he was at Cincinnati, and it has been a question mark for him. So the Bucs have now tried to put some bigger guys over there as well. 2nd and 2. Heyward in the middle, got inside the 5. He'll be close to the first down.
It's really tough football, Tim, though. Again, the Saints will oftentimes run 2 tight ends or 3 tight ends. When they have 3 tight ends in the game, they have a balanced look on their offensive line. So you wind up having everybody on the defense forced to block one-on-one. And so far, the Saints have won most of those one-on-one confrontations.
They'll measure for the first down, and John Cannon has continued in that right defensive end spot. First down, Saints. Now the Bucs sent out a couple of other heavyweight types for the goal line defense. 51 yards on this drive and 6 minutes used up. That is Mora type football, and that's what Ray Perkins wants as well. And he achieved it in the first quarter with a 10-minute, 16-second drive. But the Saints have been able to keep it since then. Mays running behind the tight end. Tice, touchdown.
Tim, this is precisely what I was talking about. With 3 tight ends in the game, you have a balanced offensive line. Then the defensive line is forced to stand up one-on-one against the offense. But what happens here, though, as the play starts, Tice goes in motion and becomes a wingback. Now the defense is outflanked. You have more offensive blockers than defenders there. And Ruben Mays simply walks into the end zone.
4-yard touchdown run for Ruben Mays. Anderson for the point after. And the Saints open a 21-7 lead. Across at the Superdome in New Orleans, where the Saints have opened a 21-7 lead here in the third. Ruben Mays from 4 yards out. Time-consuming drive again for New Orleans. 6 minutes and 30 seconds. 56 yards and 10 plays. Ironhead Heyward has gone over the 100-yard mark for the second game in a row. Hilliard accomplished that for the Saints last year. In fact, 3 games in a row. For Dalton Hilliard, who was out with an injury this week. Anderson's long kickoff will not be brought out. Let's go back and watch that extra point.
Tommy Barnhart here handles a bad snap here. Watch how he handles it, getting the ball down. The other thing, though, is he has his back leg up. The reason for that is he can lock his elbow in there and put the ball down in exactly the same spot every time. Now watch Anderson's reaction. Did a good job handling that bad snap. They butt helmets just like the linemen do.
It's a little bit different style of holding by Barnhart. Testaverde has come into the lineup for the Buccaneers. Let's see how he does off the bench. And he's hit from behind on first down. It's still loose, and the Saints have it. My, oh my. Ray Perkins cannot believe it. Testaverde never saw the blind side hit. The ball stripped and recovered by the Saints. Pat Swilling put the hit on him.
Tim Swilling, coming from his linebacker position on the outside, simply beats the back there, number 32.
Bruce Perkins.
Bruce Perkins, who can't handle him. Knocks the ball out of Vinny's hand. That's a very tough position for a quarterback to be in because that's his blind side. His back is turned to the defense. He couldn't see Swilling coming. You have to seal off the backside.
Ronaldo Turnbull came up with it. And a great opportunity to blow it open here for the Saints. Heyward to the 2. Vinny Testaverde may be sorry that they put him in there at all.
Well, he has to really be disappointed, Tim. When I talked to him before the game, he was down. He wasn't happy about being benched. but did hope they'd have a chance to come back soon and was looking for, you know, some spark to get back on track here. Unfortunately, his first play was a bad one.
On the 2-yard line, 2nd and goal, New Orleans. Heyward ran into a blocker. Touchdown.
Tim, this is a terrific run. 3 or 4 yards, you say? No, sir. I say it's the kind of a run that tells the defense, we are tougher than you today. Watch this. Several Buccaneers have a chance to hit him at the point of attack. Bang, runs in his own blocker. Boom, 2 tacklers, 3 tacklers. Can't bring him down. That is demoralizing to a defensive football team.
Yeah, he had more trouble with his own man Hilgenberg than he did the Bucs once he got away from the blocker. Anderson again for the point after. And it is now a 28-7 lead. Cross at the Superdome. 2:07 to go, 3rd quarter. The Saints have opened a 28-7 lead following the fumble recovery by Ronaldo Turnbull when Swilling hit the quarterback Testaverde, and this guy Heyward scored his 2nd touchdown from 2 yards out, and having another huge day. Tremendous kickoff through the end zone by Anderson. Now it's going to be Vinny Testaverde, and the reason he came in the last series, Chris Chandler, you can see, has got a headache. A mild concussion from the sack on the last offensive series. That brought on Testaverde. It was not a change of quarterbacks by Ray Perkins, who told us he doesn't like to change quarterbacks, and he would not be looking to get Testaverde into the game, but forced by an injury to do so. And so Vinny Testaverde with an uphill climb here from the 20-yard line. Sacked, Swilling. 3rd sack.
Tim, Swilling simply overpowered Paul Gruber, the left tackle. Really, again, you have to protect the quarterback's backside. With 75 backs, this pulling out can't get there. As a matter of fact, he held him. Swilling still gets in to make the play. Too much speed. There are a couple of ways you can block that. You can go out and block man-to-man and slide the line. In this case, Tampa Bay decided to pull Carl backs. Couldn't get there in time.
Draw play for Anderson. Anderson gets back to the 16-yard line, stopped by Turnbull and Von Johnson. And since that opening drive by the Bucs in which they scored, using up 10 minutes on the clock, they have had to punt every time since then, starting deep in their own end, as you can see, and then coughing up the fumble that led to the last score by the Saints.
And the other thing you don't see on that board, Tim, right now is 2 successive sacks by Pat Swilling.
And for Swilling, 5 on the season. Testaverde flush. The flag is down. He just throws it away in the direction of Anderson. They're just trying to offload there and hope the flag is against the defense. But it's not. It's against Tampa Bay.
Holding, number 75 offense, penalty declined, 4th down.
Carl Bax charged with the holding, and with Swilling coming on him, you've got to believe Bax is doing whatever he can now.
Part of the problem, Tim, is that Bax is pulling from his guard position. He's about 3 yards inside of the line of scrimmage. He has to pull out to the outside and block Swilling, who's coming upfield with a full head of steam. It's hard to do that.
So Royals will punt it from the 2-yard line. Good kick. Backs up Bobby Morse all the way to the 30. And Morse gets to the 42-yard line, hit there by Sam Ano. A 54-yard punt. That's a clutch kick by Mark Royals. He's been kept busy today as the Bucs have not been able to move the ball since the first quarter. On the 42-yard line, the Saints have the ball and 25 seconds to play with here in the third quarter. 28-7 lead. Ruben Mays eludes one tackle. A flag comes down as Mays gets about 5. Tim Newton stopped him. Holding signal against the Saints. Well, they can afford one of those at this stage with the score the way it is.
Holding. Number 85 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Hobie Brenner charged with holding. Well, Hobie, I think, regretted having mentioned to a local writer that he might consider retirement at the end of this year. He underlined to us he was only considering retirement. You know, he's going to kind of see how things goes. He's got his 10 years in, but, you know, if this team had a winning record of 6-1 or something at this point, I'm not so sure that Hobie would have said that at all. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The New Orleans Saints 28, the Tampa Bay Bucs 7. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We're here for the Saints. It's kind of a how are we doing kind of a graphic, Irv. They're doing pretty well.
Pretty darn well. They had attaboy hats last week. They're going to get more this week. Only one quarterback hassle. We'll come back to it later, but Hilgenberg, the guy in the center there, sort of sets the pace for that offensive line.
First down from the 32, and whoops, we'll have to change the graphic. I think they got a penalty.
Yes, so.
We'll get it from Gordon McCarter.
Full start, 67 offense, 5 yards, still first down.
Let's take a look at the graphic again, Tim, because we had to update it with that penalty. But in any case, taking a look at this offensive line report, one hurry of their quarterback. The average yards per rush, 6.4 is awesome. The best defensive team in the league against the running game is Miami. They average 3 yards per rush against them. Short yardage, 5 for 5. That's 3rd and 2 or less. And they've had 2 penalties now for 15 yards. That is an A+ on the report card.
Well, and the Hilgenberg brothers think that that ought to come due at contract time. Mays, good piece of running by Ruben Mays. Gets him up to the 37-yard line. Ruben Davis and Hamilton made the stop. The Bucs on that opening series, it produced a touchdown, used up 10-16 of the first quarter time. Since that time, they haven't even reached that mark. The Saints have done what they like to do and what Ray Perkins and company were trying to take away from them. Time on the clock. Second down and 15. Heyward to the 40-yard line. It'll leave 3rd and about 12. Bennerty comes on, and Gerald Alfin, a wide receiver, number 86. Tight end Brenner comes off the field. And the Bucs send on defensive substitutes of the long passing down. Rodney Rice, Eric Everett into the secondary. Steve Walsh will try to keep possession here with a passing first down on 3rd and long. Deep sideline for Alfin. I don't think Alfin ever saw the ball. And it's out of bounds, incomplete. For an NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Well, Tim, the Atlanta Falcons not about to give up at Soldier Field in Chicago. Chris Miller from the 5 rolls left, looks for and finds Tracy Johnson in the end zone. Falcons add the extra point, and in the third quarter, they are now down by a score of 24-10. Back to the Superdome in New Orleans. Tim and Irv.
Well, Chris Miller, a fine young quarterback on a team that's developing. They may lose that game and a few more this year, but Atlanta's on the rise no matter what. Barnhart's punt. Fair catch signal at the 22-yard line by Willie Drury. We'll be right back. The Superdome, the New Orleans Saints with a healthy lead here in the fourth quarter. Craig Heyward's been the main man on the ground, 150 yards. And, of course, the blocking up front you've already commented on. And you mentioned these hats. This is an official Saints attaboy hat, folks. They'll have to hand out a bunch of these again.
When we asked Mora what that meant, he says, it means attaboys. Patted him on the back, attaboy. Good job.
He brought that over from the USFL. The players kind of scoffed at the idea when they were T-shirts, but they've gotten into the hats. Everybody likes hats. Now, Testaverde coming off the bench. Irv, what does this mean for him? He's got to start from 28-7 down here. The last series wasn't successful. Well, Bruce Perkins, will be dropped for a loss. He couldn't have expected to play in the game. They're going to go with Chris Chandler. He suffers a concussion, and suddenly Testaverde's in off the bench.
Well, Testaverde's in there, and unfortunately, he had to come in. Now, here's Chandler. They're working on him, trying to get things cleared up for him because of that concussion he suffered. But it was tough for Vinny because he came off the bench cold, and the first thing he had to do was come in and throw a pass. What happens? The Saints blitz him and knock him down from the blind side. So now he has to kind of get himself together and see if he can't get into the groove here and work himself into this game.
That is Perkins out of the backfield. A free agent from Arizona State that Ray Perkins said, hey, you know, I just couldn't cut this guy. He just had such a good camp. I was trying to find something wrong with the way he plays this game. Said I couldn't, so I kept him.
Yeah, he decided, hey, this guy's a pretty good football player.
They released another fullback, Jamie Lawson, last week, so they have only 4 running backs, and Perkins is the backup to Reggie Cobb. 3rd down and 2. Mark Carrier for the first down. The 44-yard line.
The Saints this time decided to go into the zone defense, Tim. As Testaverde goes back this time, he gets good protection, has plenty of time to deliver the ball. Carrier rolling inside between the defensive backs and linebackers, right in the hole there of the zone for the completion.
13-yard gain on the play, and the Bucs moving upfield. Sacked again, Pat Swilling. His 3rd of the day, 4 for the Saints.
Pat Swilling is having a field day. Number 56 at the top of your screen to the right. You can't see him. Here he comes now. Again, beating Paul Gruber, who's a pretty good pass blocker. Breaks him down, getting inside of him, and Testaverde goes down again. 3 sacks for Swilling, all in the second half.
6 on the season for Swilling, and he's playing with a sore elbow to boot. 2nd and 15. Swilling again. They set up the screen to Anderson. Anderson gets about 8, maybe 9 on the play. Well short of the first down. Wilkes and Von Johnson. Not a bad idea to screen where Swilling was.
Exactly, Tim. One way to defeat a blitzing linebacker or somebody who's putting that much pressure on your quarterback is throw the ball to the area in which he just vacated. So Swilling again coming on a blitz maneuver. Finds Anderson. Running a pattern right where he vacated. Here's the pressure right here. Vinny, knowing that the heat is on, timed it up well and just delivered the ball.
Benny Thompson and Milton Mack into the secondary on the 3rd down and 6. 4 wideouts, Hill, Pillow, Drury, Carrier, and it's intercepted by Cook. Return to the 3-yard line.
Tell you what happened, Tim. A couple plays earlier, Vinny Testaverde hit a hook pattern on that side of the field in front of Toy Cook. Toy Cook told me earlier this week that I have a photographic memory. If you run a pattern against me once, the second time I'll take it. It's exactly the same pattern. This time he steps in there, takes the ball away from Carrier, rambles down inside the 10-yard line. He's had his hands on 5 balls this year where he thought he should have been intercepted. 3 of them, he said, should have been touchdowns. Today, he finally got a hold of one.
They only had 3 interceptions coming into the game. That's been something they've been unhappy about here, the secondary of the Saints. Now we're on the verge of a blowout. Ironhead to the 1-yard line.
Tim, on the verge of a blowout. How much time do you have left in this game? I think the Saints have it pretty well under control.
They certainly do.
I know it's not over till it's over. I know all of that.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
But if they go plus 30, that's a blowout. That's where we're headed here. Once they get over that 30 mark, 28-7, and they're at the 2-yard line.
I'll tell you, the thing that you have to be impressed about with the Saints, though, Tim, is that during that period of time when things weren't going very well, they never panicked. The coaching staff said, we have a lot of good things going on with this team. Let's build on that.
Reuben Mays. Touchdown. Well, Tom Benson, the owner of the Saints, enjoying that action with his friends in the Superdome box up there.
Very basic plays, Tim, from the I formation. Again, Heyward getting a lead block there, sort of stumbles away in there. But Reuben Mays following his offensive line through the hole for the touchdown. Again, on the right side of the line that time, Trapillo and Stan Brock, the primary blockers.
A 1-yard touchdown run, his second of the afternoon for Reuben Mays. Anderson with a point after. And a 35-7 New Orleans lead. Oysters. Send some of those up here. New Orleans is where to eat them. Morton Anderson will kick it off with a 35-7 lead. Willie Drury, the deep man. Frank Peebles, hurt earlier in the game, has not returned. And Chris Chandler, who started at quarterback, out with a concussion. Drury will not bring it out. So the Bucs will start from the 20-yard line. Testaverde continues at quarterback. Remember, they don't have another one dressed today. Next week, a reminder that our doubleheader day of NFL action here on CBS begins at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL Today, and a visit with Mike Ditka and Dan Reeves, former teammates, and they're still close friends. They're two of the league's most successful and intense coaches who share more in common than Super Bowl appearances. They're both back from heart problems. The road to recovery next week. Now these Buccaneers not feeling too good about developments here today. Watching Chandler go down and the Saints roll it up. Incomplete. That one dropped. The flag on the play. Frank Pillow. Testaverde delivered the ball on the mark. Troy Cook broke it up. Cook just picked one off and returned it down to the 3-yard line.
Pass interference. Number 41 defense. Automatic first down. Spot on the foul.
Interference charge against Cook on that one. So Pillow gets a reprieve.
Tough position for Vinny Testaverde to be in, though, Tim. Everybody in the house knows he has to throw the football. So the Saint defense now, all they have to do is dig in and, like a track meet, get back to the quarterback as fast as you can.
He's had a lot of experience in this situation. Anderson. What was different for Testaverde this year was that early in the season, when things were going better for the Bucs and were running the ball well, he didn't have to throw from behind. He didn't have to throw a lot of passes in a game. Averaged about only 20 passes through the first 3 or 4 games of the year.
Yeah, their game plan was working basically the way the Saints' game plan has worked today. Controlling the ball on the ground and then throwing very conservatively and selectively when you had to.
Second down, a long 4. Another sack. 5 sacks on the day. Jim Wilkes gets that one, number 94.
Tim, Big Goff told us when he was at Tampa that one thing you can do to Vinny Testaverde is when you get close to him, yell at him, and he'll respond to that. Now, Jim Wilkes, number 94, coming in. I would suspect, as he was approaching Testaverde, he was also screaming at him at the same time. Vinny brought the ball down. Another sack.
Well, there are the Saints sackers. Swilling with a big day today. He's up to 6, and they've got 26 in all. Well spread around, including safety Gene Atkins, who'll sneak up there and blow in. Testaverde gets the ball off. Are they going to rule it a sack? Evidently, yes. Swilling again. 4th of the day.
Swilling is on a record-breaking pace here. He's had 4 sacks in the second half alone, most of them on either Carl Bax or Paul Gruber. Number 56, Pat Swilling, from his linebacker position, coming up with another key sack.
Man, this is not a pretty sight for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Swilling enjoying every second of it. Royals will punt. 7:53 still to play. Bobby Morse. Ankle tackle on him at midfield by Odie Harris, but they're in Tampa territory. Jackson, he doesn't have a sack today. Pat Swilling's got most of them, tying his record, but Jackson showed some other leadership qualities. Earlier this week, he read about a young man by the name of Nat Adams, a freshman football player, local high school, suffered a severe injury, went out and raised some money.
Sure it is. It's kind of funny. Went to his teammates and said, hey, guys, I don't know this kid from Adam, but he is a football player. I'm putting in $500. You guys give me 100 apiece. Every single Saint player came in, delivered him money, and yesterday, Jackson took the money to the youngster at the hospital. Met him for the first time.
Yeah, over $7,000 from the players and coaches, the officials of the New Orleans Saints. Nice thing. Fennerty, not much for Fennerty, got about a yard. And a bunch of Buccaneers arrive. And now a little pushing and shoving from Roderick Thomas and Dombrowski. So this frustrated Bucs team is starting to show a little frayed temper. Understandable. They're down 35-7 in the 4th quarter.
Look what the Saints have done so far running the ball, Tim. They've had 9 carries for 36 yards to the left side, 20 carries for 127 up the middle. Last week they were effective up the middle. Again, they're effective up the middle, and then 5 on the right side for 44 yards. You have to shut down the middle if you're going to stop the Saints running game.
2nd and 8, that's Eric Martin, and he has a first down, New Orleans. 34-yard line. 13-yard gain on the play. Keith McCants and Irvin Randall made the tackle. Walsh 7 rather of 12 at this point. And what a day this defense is having for the New Orleans Saints. There's the main man. Swilling tying Ricky Jackson's 4 sacks in a game, New Orleans mark. Heyward. Roderick Thomas got him. And got some help from Harry Hamilton.
Tim, you know what happens when you have a force like Heyward in the game? It's going to change defensive teams' thinking in terms of what you do to stop a guy like that. Right now, you have linebackers in the game today are 235, 240 pounds. If you have a running back 260, as Heyward is, who's as effective as he is, your linebackers are going to have to get bigger to stop him. So I can see over the long run, if Heyward continues as he is now, the league's saying, let's get bigger people up there to stop this guy.
155 yards rushing for Heyward. This is Mays. And Mays gets about a yard before he's forced back. And again, Dombrowski now. Robinson trying to get at Dombrowski's got a hold of his face mask. I'd say that physical mismatch is a bit of an overmatch for Robinson, who did well just to hang on there. Virginia man Jim Dombrowski.
One day, maybe Dr. Dombrowski. You know, he majored in biology at Virginia and hopes one day to become an orthopedic surgeon. But this time, he's a football player, mixing it up. Jim Dombrowski, number 72. What happens, Tim, is that when tempers start to flare, all these guys are sort of like macho men. You know, no one wants to be the first one to back off. And what you need to do is have your teammates and referees get in there to separate them.
155 yards rushing for Heyward. 155 yards rushing for Heyward. And again, Dombrowski now. Robinson trying to get at Dombrowski's got a hold of his face mask. I'd say that physical mismatch is a bit of an overmatch for Robinson, who did well just to hang on there. Third down, and they need about 6. Walsh gets time and then overthrows Martin, intercepted. Harry Hamilton takes it out of bounds. At the 17-yard line, Walsh sailed that one up, and Harry Hamilton had a freebie.
Sure did, Tim. He overthrew the ball, and Hamilton playing a deep safety position. It looked to me as though the Buccaneers in some sort of a zone coverage. Hamilton, number 39, playing in the deep middle here. The ball just sails out of Walsh's hand here. It's overthrown. Hamilton coming inside here to pick it off. That's his 3rd interception of the year. Does a pretty good job picking that one off. Defensive back from Penn State. Hamilton and Mark Robinson together, both Penn State defensive players, do an exceptional job back there.
Well, at the Superdome in New Orleans today, it has been all New Orleans Saints after an early lead by the Bucs, who looked awfully good on their first drive, but have been overwhelmed since then. They've lost quarterback Chris Chandler, who started the game, to a concussion in the 3rd quarter, and Testaverde off the bench has had action like that. Ricky Jackson nearly got himself a sack. Testaverde got the ball away incomplete.
I tell you, Tim, you can say all you want to say about quarterbacking, but unless people up front stop these people, you have to block them to give your quarterback a chance to deliver the football. Ricky Jackson here simply overpowers everybody. Offensive lineman, then Cobb throws him away, and Testaverde has to be wondering to himself, wait a minute, guys, give me some help here. We have to start blocking up front.
2nd and 10. Testaverde with a short drop gets it off to Pillow in a hurry, and that produces a first down. The 30-yard line.
Difference, Tim, is that the Saints defensive line does not have to worry about any kind of run action. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers run the ball, of course, that's it's not going to hurt them. They can give up running plays now. All they're thinking about now is pinning their ears back and getting to the quarterback. And it's very difficult to stop a defensive team when they're coming at that force.
Carrier goes out wide to the left, Pillow into the slot. Early movement by Turnbull, but he got back, it appeared. Ron Hall, the tight end. Good coverage by Mills on him, stopping him after a gain of only 2 or 3. Testaverde trying to make those short drops and quick passes against all that pressure. It'll be 2nd down and about 6. And Tampa Bay takes a timeout here with 3:37 remaining in the football game. And we've got more football ahead here today on CBS. Our doubleheader game will feature the unbeaten New York Giants. Bill Sims having an outstanding year and going in against Jim Everett and the Rams at Los Angeles. The Rams have been struggling, as you know, a little defensive problem, and they are tied with the Saints and Atlanta. So the Rams have got to crank it up here today at home against the Giants. And the Giants looking for revenge. Reading the New York papers, lots of talk of reminiscence of Willie Flipper Anderson running through the end zone with that game-winning touchdown in the playoff a year ago.
You'd be surprised at how much memories like that linger with the football team, Tim, because that was a big game. I remember it very well, too. We were there during the broadcast, and Flipper Anderson caught that touchdown pass and ran through the end zone right into the tunnel. Of course, the Rams knocking off the Giants in the playoffs, and I guess the Giants feel maybe it's payback time now.
That's next. 2nd down and 6. Testaverde from the shotgun just got it away and delivers a first down pass to Pillow again at the 46-yard line of Tampa Bay. See, now the Bucs go into the hurry up. That's complete to John Harvey out of the backfield, number 26. First-year man from Texas El Paso, stopped by Vinny Thompson. It'll leave 2nd and long 3. Testaverde getting a little workout here today in the 2-minute drill. That pass incomplete, intended for Gary Anderson. But you know, there are no questions answered for the Bucs here today, except that their problems have increased. I mean, they're going to fall to 4 consecutive losses here. And whatever the quarterback controversy might have been or could have been or should have been, would have been stuff, here you've got Testaverde coming off the bench because of an injury to Chandler. So what does Ray Perkins do next week?
Well, if Chandler's not ready to go, he goes with...
What if he's ready to go?
If he's ready to go, I think he picks up where he left off today. Chandler's going to be a starter, is my guess. But Perkins says he does not have a quarterback controversy. He knows what he's doing at that position.
Until he gets home.
Oh, yeah.
First down, Testaverde completing that one for about a 7-yard gain, and Harvey made the catch, and they've got it down to the 41-yard line. Testaverde pumps once and goes deep for Pillow, and it's overthrown. Massey had the coverage on Frank Pillow. Bucks came into this game still very much in the playoff picture at 4-5, and indeed when you look at the rest of these standings, even this loss doesn't knock them out of the playoff picture by a long shot. They will be 4-6 when it's over. But the way the league has gone this year, with only a few teams at the top of those big records like Chicago and the Giants and the 49ers, hey, all these guys are still in it.
The thing that hurts, though, Tim, is that the Bucks' expectations were so high coming into the season. Even Hugh Coverhouse, the owner of the team, predicted they would win 11 games this year.
Testaverde, that's complete to Carrier. Carrier finding a nice hole there in the open and going to it. Testaverde with a good pass to the 21-yard line of the Saints. That'll take him to the 2-minute warning. And we'll be back at the Superdome in a moment. With his fancy new wireless headset, he can kneel down, walk around, do whatever he wants out there, and he's got to feel good. His team is going to move to 4-5 in the NFC West. Well, tonight on CBS, we'll have 60 minutes for you. And if war breaks out in the Middle East, the Pentagon has a $12 billion baby that can shoot down any attacking helicopter. Sounds good? Well, it doesn't work. $12 billion, and it doesn't work. That shocking story tonight on 60 Minutes. Followed by Murder, She Wrote. And the CBS Sunday movie, Fatal Attraction. That'll get your attention, that film.
You see that movie?
I saw it.
Oh, it was the chiller, the thriller.
On first down, in and out of the hands of Pillow. Testaverde threw a perfect strike. Pillow's got 2 or 3 in a row and drops that one there with the end zone in front of him.
This ball couldn't have been thrown any better, Tim. This time, the offensive line did give Testaverde time to deliver the ball, and Pillow running a post pattern. You'll see him at the lower end of your screen here, coming into the picture in a second here. Testaverde delivering the ball right on target. Really terrific throw between linebackers and deep backs. Pillow simply dropped it.
Testaverde now 10 of 16 for 100 yards. 2nd and 10. Pillow again, and this one he grabs in traffic. Make it Carrier, Mark Carrier, pardon me, 88. And Carrier gets to the 10-yard line and a first down. 1:40 remaining. Bucks just want to get it in the end zone, get some points. And a high snap. Testaverde handles it well, but he is dropped again. And this time by Joel Smengi, a rookie from Western Michigan.
Let's take a look and see what's happening over Randy Grimes' nose. Actually, he's in pretty good shape, but it's just a bad snap. Anticipating an aggressive line rush from the defense. Gets the ball up higher than it should be. Testaverde does a good job of getting it back.
1:30 remaining with a timeout on the field. Buccaneers taking the timeout with the ball back at the 25-yard line. And we talked about the Saints, who will move to a 4-5 record in the NFC West. And Walsh now 2-2 as a starter. Heyward and Wayne Martin have been out with injuries, and they're going to get them back as early possibly as next week. Wayne Martin, the starting defensive end, and Heyward adding even more running back power. And next week they go to Washington. That's a tough duty for them there, but then they come home to Atlanta and play at Dallas. So how do you analyze the rest of the Saints season when you see the schedule ahead, Irv?
Well, I think they're in pretty good shape. Where their offensive line is playing, Tim, they've been blocking well for some time. Now everything seems to be coming together with a running game. Whether it's Washington or Dallas or anybody else, I think they can control the line of scrimmage against those ball clubs on the ground.
Owner Tom Benson has gone down to the field to celebrate. Testaverde can't find anybody. Now finally breaks out of there. And takes it out of bounds at the 22-yard line of New Orleans.
Pretty nifty footwork by Testaverde, moving around the pocket, trying to find an open spot to deliver the ball. But the pocket kept collapsing around him, and every step he took, he'd find himself facing a black jersey from the Saints.
Now they've got a third down. Coordinating producers of the NFL on CBS, Charles H. Milton III and Ed Gorin. The game today produced by Daniel H. Forer and directed by Michael Arnold. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. Our senior producer, David Winter. Executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. 119 and counting down. The Bucs on the way to a 4-6 mark. And New Orleans on the way to a 4-5 mark. Incomplete, intended for Carrier, and it was Vinny Thompson putting the lick on him, the first-year man from Grambling. Vinny Thompson and Vince Buck, two first-year guys. Buck, a true rookie from Central State, Ohio, was hurt earlier in the game and hasn't come back. Thompson, 27-year-old, who played in the Canadian Football League, has come down here as a first-year man from Grambling. They are going to be really featured players in this secondary as the next couple of years go on here in New Orleans. Suddenly, that secondary just looks better and better with the addition of those guys.
Thompson is a real hitter back there. He's very aggressive.
Fourth down, and the Bucs, of course, going for it. Testaverde, and it's intercepted in the end zone by Thompson. Intended for Carrier. Testaverde was high and long, and Vinny Thompson has himself an intercept.
That's Vinny Thompson's second interception of the year, Tim. This time he's simply playing in a deep zone in the middle of the field, and Testaverde, overthrowing his target, throws it right to him. There's a rotation here, three-man rush. He has plenty of time to deliver the ball, flagging it off there, but Thompson doesn't go for it. Here he is in the deep middle, just waiting for the ball to come to him. Interception number 2 this year.
First and 20, first down at the 20 with 1:07 to go, and the Saints just intend to use up the clock and take their second consecutive victory. And winning here at home is all the more sweet. Last week at Cincinnati, beating the Bengals handily, and a very solid performance today. Jim Mora's got us feel good about what they did here, Irv.
The difference, though, Tim, is that last week at this time he was standing on the sidelines with his hands on his hips, chewing gum. Today he's not doing that. No. But
what do we read into that?
Well, nothing. I guess he's not chewing gum today. I guess maybe because it's on the carpet. I don't know.
A little more relaxed at 35-7, perhaps, than last week against the Bengals at home. The Bengals in Cincinnati. Now 20 seconds and counting down. The New Orleans Saints move to 4-5. The Bucs have played one more game. They will be 4-6. Jim Mora, having given up the opening touchdown, his team against a solid drive from the Bucs, suddenly all turned around, and the Saints completely dominating. So Jim Mora with his team having won 2 in a row, and our final score 35-7 over the Bucs. Stay tuned for the NFL Today post-game show. Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw will have all the scores and highlights. You are watching the NFL on CBS.
With the undefeated call against their nemesis, the Rams. Down the freeway, the Raiders had their hands full with the rejuvenated pack. Or did somebody say sack? Say it 7 times fast, and then say Kansas City's Derek Thomas. Heavy metal indeed. Ironhead and the Saints pound away at the Bucs. The D in Dolphins is getting larger every week. The Bears once again have all the angles covered. We'll cover the NFL from head to toe next on Prime Time. Once again, everybody, I'm Chris Berman. Welcome to ESPN's NFL Primetime. We hit double digits in week number 10. And we hit the ground running with our normal crew of Tom Jackson, Pete Axthelm, and Robin Roberts. We will have some fun. Late games, let's get you caught up on what